Hi, welcome to Feisty Chess. We're going to play our daily chess game today. Looks like we've got paired up on Lead Chess with ZB581. We're going to go with E4. Alright. We've got a Sicilian. I'm not going to do this every time, but I feel like I want to Smith Morra. Let's hope he accepts the Morra Gambit here. The idea is to give up a pawn, as with any gambit, for quick development. He's playing knight f6, which gets us into c3 Alapin Sicilian territory. I'm going to still hope that he accepts the gambit. I think like the feisty thing to do here is to go for bishop c4. If he goes knight b6, we'll just drop back to b3. My number one goal in this game, and I'm glad I'm in some opening lines that I know better. My number one goal in this game is not to get too far behind on time. So far, so good. Okay. I could still go into accepted variations here. Sorry, I could still go into, say, c takes d4. He has an annoying check on b4. I'm going to go ahead and castle. I could also just take on d5. And then c takes d4 is not such an annoying check. Bishop b4 is not such an annoying check. Looks like bishop takes d5, e takes d5. He'll be able to undouble those pawns pretty easily. Let's just go in the spirit of the opening and keep on with our quick development. If he takes on c3, I'll probably take the knight. Okay. What about queen e2 here? Just keep developing pieces. If he trades, then I got a healthy lead in development. Gives up the two bishops, but yeah. Okay, I've seen games with this kind of theme here. Queen to e2 also protects that pawn. So I could maybe think about capturing on d4 with my knight. Not sure what the reason for that would be, other than to maybe get f4 in. Now, black doesn't really have a good place to go with his bishop other than e7. After bishop e7, I can then capture on d4, and I've kept him from being a little more active. Okay. I'm wondering if knight a3 makes sense here. That's really going all in on the gambit idea, because then once he takes on c3, I can no longer take and take with my knight where it wants to go to c3. I'm also just looking at taking on d4 here. Bishop b3 is also an option. Taking on d4 would be a mistake here. I'd be fine after knight takes e5, and I could take knight takes e5, and my bishop is guarded twice. I'm not even sure that's fine. So my bishop is loose A little too loose on c4. I like the idea of putting it on d3. To make white give up on the idea of castling, because there's lots of Greek gift ideas there. Sorry, black. Let's do bishop d3. Got a raspberry smoothie today. Banana raspberry, in fact. Okay, we're a little bit down on time. But I think I said something last time like 10 moves in 10 minutes and it should be fine. Okay. Bishop f4 looks good here. He really wants me to take on d4. But that just seems kind of anodyne. Bishop f4 develops another piece. Puts it on a diagonal with... Well, if he takes, I have to look at this. Bishop f4. D takes e5. Knight takes e5. I'm not sure that's very good. What about knight a3 here? He's blocked his bishop's control of that. Knight a3. Knight a3. Take on e5. Pawn takes e5. Knight b5. Queen to b8. I don't really want to go another pawn down. So I'll finally bite and take here. I don't think his knights are all that well placed on the queen side. If he takes, as he's likely to do, I'll just have to retake with my pawn. Taking with the knight would drop d4. But I like my position. You can't make him accept that Morra Gambit, unfortunately. That's my favorite Morra Gambits to play, are the accepted ones. There's lots of sacrificial ideas, lots of combinations. A lot of traps for white to be wary of. Okay, he doesn't, for black to be wary of. He doesn't do that. Just bring our knight to c3. Sensible move. Okay. I'd like to be a little better on time than I am, but I think I have made some improvement from the last couple games. Okay, let's use his time. He's maybe thinking of castling. Now that his bishop is on e7, that's a safer idea. I could go for the immediate knight. G5. Once he kicks me away with h6, my knight can jump to e4. You could also go for d5 here, try to lock that center up. It's looking awfully a lot like a French defense. Okay. So knight to c3 provoked him to play a6. I think my bishop does want to come to f4. Yeah. Plan is to get a rook on the c file, scare black's queen a little bit. If he brings his knight to b4, I'm not really worried. I don't know what I'll do there. I like that light square bishop quite a bit now. Maybe I should have taken time out to play a3. I suppose I could go bishop b1 and then kick the knight later. Bishop e4 might be a better idea. I could put a lot of pressure on d6, say with knight e4. Okay, he does go for this. Not a pawn down. I have to remember that. That bishop is a great piece. It's either bishop b1 or bishop e4, and if he plays d5, I'm basically stuck with bishop b1. If I go rook to c1, he takes, I take. Got some threats on his queen. He probably has to deal with that. I can start opening things up while he's still uncastled. I'm gonna do this. That rook. I'll just have to pre-move the recapture. That knight is no longer having any influence on. Well, obviously, if it's traded off, it's not having much influence, but I've got bishop b1 if he doesn't take here. Yeah, okay. Now I'm looking at knight e4 ideas. Or if he doesn't move his queen, I've got knight d5 even. So I traded off that light square bishop, but I have an initiative and his king is still in the center. Okay. Oh, knight e4 looks really powerful here. b8 is a really passive square for that queen, so knight e4. I could sink that knight in, get the bishop pair back. Alternatively, I've got trades on d6, and then once the queen takes on d6, I can play knight e4. That gets rid of my thorn pawn. All right, I like knight e4 either way. There's lots of good options. He's got a loose knight on b6. I'm starting to feel like I'm jinxing myself every time I say this, but I'm happy here. Got a good position. After d5, I can consider knight to d6 or knight to g5. Knight g5, h6. I also got knight c5. I had a lot of good options here. Knight c5 though, knight d7, and I don't see much of a useful role for that knight. I got knight g3. That's not immediately doing much. Alright, the critical line's got to be knight d6. Ooh, I can get a rook to the 7th in that line. That pawn could be a real pain. But I'm looking at knight c4 here. Okay, knight d6, bishop takes e6, d6. E takes d6. And then knight to c4 seems to put a damper in my plans. Can I just kick the knight? And that stuff works. Okay, I've got to make a move. Let's just go knight to g3. Okay, I'm still happy. I'm used to playing the Morra a pawn down, so when I'm not a pawn down, I'm always asking myself, do I have compensation for the pawn? But I've got the pawn here, so that's good. That's good. All right. I think I can get this knight. Let's make this mate threat. Or do we go for the bishop immediately and then hope to get the knight to g5 later? Knight g5. Pick one. Let's go with bishop. I suppose I could have also just played b3 to restrain his knight, but okay. This weakens things. If I take here, that lets his queen out. Yeah. I can just preserve a pin. Let's slide the bishop back. Oh, that runs into a g5. Is that worth it for him? Okay. Bishop here seems fine. Once again, putting it along the diagonal with the queen. Okay, let's Keep that knight out of c4. That does allow him to play bishop a3, I just realized. Ooh. How long has that been sitting there? Okay. It's okay. I've got a tactical answer to this, although I can't claim that I saw this ahead of time. I protect this bishop, and then I'm making threats on his queen and bishop at once. It might not get me the exchange back, but it gives me a lot of compensation. Yeah, quite a bit of compensation, because I can tear up his king side. So here's the line I'm looking at. Bishop takes f1. E takes f6. Hits the queen. Also hits the bishop, so I think bishop to d6 is the move there. And then bishop takes d6, queen takes d6, and then f takes g. F takes g7, threatens the rook with tempo. He doesn't have time to save his bishop. Maybe he goes for an exchange sack there. That gets really complicated. Hopefully it gives him something to think about. ZB581, considering bishop takes f1 here, most likely. Okay. That put a little bit of fear in him. Where's this rook want to go? Okay. Getting a closed position in the center. What's the idea here? He wants to bring his rook back. I can kick that knight around now. He needed to play bishop a3, I think. Kick the bishop, then kick the knight. I'm looking at maybe queen c3. Okay. I can trade off dark square bishops here. And keep that knight. Keep that a5 in reserve. That would make a5 very weak, obviously, with the queen on that diagonal. Let's trade off these bishops. I'll need to recapture with the queen, won't I? Yes, because he has f4 if I recapture with the knight. But I'm willing to trade queens. When the knight recaptures, I'm on e6. That gives me time to get f4 in before dropping my knight back to f3. Do I want to play f4? He's probably happy to trade queens, I would think. He's got a bit of a space disadvantage. That bishop is really lousy, though. His bishop is a terrible piece. I can double rooks on the c-file. Bishop at least plugs that up, though. My knights. I'd love to get a knight to f4, actually. My knights could cause some trouble against that. Against those pawns. Okay. Oh, alright. We can keep queens on the board. G6 is a trap for the queen. Bishop d8, bishop e8 would ruin that party. Do I want to take queens off? I think I do, if only because I'm low on time, so let's just make that quick decision. It goes with that rook. Okay. I'm giving myself some luft and prevent him from playing g5, and then I can park a knight. Ooh, I might want to play a5 now. I think that looks good. That freezes bishop. He could play a5. I could get a knight to c5, and with a5 in, that would be a beast of the piece. Yeah, let's play a5 before he can. I'm going to squeeze our space advantage here. He's got to park his knight on a square that's going to be inconvenient for him. Either d7 or c8. And c8, he's definitely en route to somewhere else. Yep. He'll have it on e7 and he can... Okay. Which knight wants to take its path first? We've got this knight that wants to go to e1, d3, c5. We've got this knight that wants to go to f4. Let's take that route first. Maybe h5 was a little more active there. I forgot to make my preparatory move. h4. Let's do that. If he goes knight g6, I can always just kick that knight. Okay, he's planning bishop d7. Alright. I've got a pull here. Oh. I'm looking at h5 and knight h4 to g6, but I'm not sure what that accomplishes. Other than a big time clamp. Let's get our other knight to c5. I suppose you could put the kibosh on this with bishop b5 now. Maybe we should have tried a double rooks. He could play g5 now. Okay, let's just repeat. Maybe he probably won't repeat, but I'll admit that was a little bit of a mistake. Now I'm clamping down on g5. I still have ideas of... Okay. He's more active now. Well, let's guard our pawn. I don't see any other way to do it. I'd like to get my king in the game. I think I've lost any advantage I might have had. His bishop is trapped. I might think about knight d3 now. Knight doesn't seem to be as good on f5 as I'd hoped. That puts the brakes on that. Back to e1. Oh no, I can play a knight to d3. Oh, he's not going to allow that. Okay, I'll let him take on b3. He's... No, I can't. I can't. I might need to. I need to just get active. Crap. Probably he'll double on the c-file. His bishop is a monster now. I've created a monster. I'm thinking maybe f3, king f2, and then knight e2. That's my plan. good to have a plan when you're in time trouble. Okay. Now I can do this plan. Or can I? Let's just get started with that plan. That was irresponsible of me. Forgot to babysit my A-pawn. I should have played b4 last move. Actually, that would leave him in quite a pinch. Rook c4 is likely, but then knight can come to d3. It's got to be the right knight, though. Well, I don't like the tactics of bringing my rear knight up there. Okay, maybe g4 is some kind of active plan here. So he can just take on d4 now. Good lord, how did I get so terrible at chess? An active king is something. And I've lost another pawn, and I haven't even seen it coming. God, man. He's gonna mate me. I just allowed a mate. Yep. Rook e2, king f4, g5 is the mate. Whew. Okay. Thankful for that. I suppose I could play f4. Now let's see what else to do in 10 seconds. I have one move. There's a mate. Ooh, time trouble yet again, folks. Alright, let's be quick about the analysis on this one. Ooh, not gonna lie, this is getting frustrating. Let's turn the computer on. Look at the opening book here. Knight b6 is the usual move. e6 not as often played. Okay. Main move c takes d4, but castling is a move. d6. No, knight here. Bishop d3. No, now we're in new territory. Okay. Computer likes black. Now it likes white. Probably likes bishop b3 here. Okay, still it likes white. I had a healthy advantage. Felt good. Still looking good. Knight e4 immediately. Oh, then I can get in my rook c1 with tempo. Perhaps. Knight e4, knight takes d3, queen takes d3. Knight d5. Gets very tactical. +2. Okay, this is still good. Queen b8. Knight e4, d5. Knight d6 check. I should have gone for it. It likes king f8. We have to look at this. Okay, knight d6 check. What's wrong with this? Bishop takes, e takes. Now something like bishop d7. Likes bishop d7. What about knight d7? Whew. Rook c7, just as I thought. Yeah, I had mentioned rook c7, but then I didn't look at that line enough. So yeah, knight d6, definitely the move here. King f8, ugly. Knight g5, and I'm landing a knight on f7. Now bishop takes d6. I'm still getting rook c7 in. Even allowing the skewer, because there's too many threats. So mate and 8. Ooh. Look at this stuff. Man. There's queen h3. Yep, right here. Wow, that's a line. All that was missed. All that was missed. So bishop d7 is the preferred line, but then knight to e5. Queen can't take here because of knight g6, winning the rook. Castles, really. Rook c7. Queen e8, trying to hold things together. Queen g3, we're threatening bishop h6. And doubling on the c-file. White's completely dominant. He's not even down a pawn. It's like a Morra Gambit with the pawn. Just nothing for black to do. Alright, look at those critical variations. I went for a safe looking move. I still have an advantage here though. So this is not, after castling 1.5, okay, knight to h5. Is that threatening knight f6? Knight h5. I want to be able to find these attacking ideas. What do I play instead? Bishop here. Oh, it still likes it. It's not a 4-point advantage, but f6 and then just take. Open stuff up. Open stuff up. Now knight h5. Yeah, the king side is pretty naked. Bishop takes g5, knight takes g5. Rook f5? What's wrong with this? Oh, there's a mate. That's what's wrong with it. Queen a3. Queen a3. Just a roundabout way of getting to the 7th rank. Rook f5. Rook c7. Oh, it's brutal. This queen's got to take to prevent the mate. Okay, this is the Morra. This is the Morra I wanted. In a real funk here. In a real funk. Just open stuff up. I was worried about opening up his queen. His queen side is ridiculous, honestly, and why was I worried about that? I should open things up to get my pieces going. Instead I played back here, and that later allowed him to plug up the center. I missed tactics. Alright, maybe before making another game video I better do some training. Maybe I'll share some training resources in my next videos. Trading queens. I still have an advantage. Still got about a pawn's worth of advantage here. Yeah, so here is where it started to slip. It likes knight to h5. Yep, that's the same idea, but we're being more active with it. Keeping his g-pawn nailed to g7. Knight h5. Knight e7. Now knight to f4. What about g5 here? Oh, right, I'm on e6. Now h4. Okay. But it says zeros. Whatever advantage is here is hard to keep. Maybe I should have kept my pawn on a4 just to keep his bishop locked out of the game. His bishop is really terrible. So a5. Yeah, I lost a little bit of advantage there. His bishop was a beast on b5. And then I started making back and forth moves. Ugh. And then started missing basic threats. b4 here is necessary, but then rook c4 and I'm losing one of those pawns. Well, maybe not guaranteed. I should get g3 in at some point. But I had my plan, and I played it. My plan didn't take into account that I was losing a pawn immediately. Whew. Yeah, there's no way to protect both of those pawns. I'm just already incredibly losing here. 1.6. Yeah, it looked like it was a steady decline. Oh. Alright. I've had about enough as I can stomach of this game, so I'm gonna sign off. Let's take the lessons away from it. Time trouble, yet again. It's my perpetual nemesis. I need a concrete system to deal with that. A certain amount of time for each move, and once that time expires, I'm making a move. Looking deeper into critical continuations like knight d6 and like e takes f6 at a later point. Those are both winning attacks for me, and I failed to make them. So I didn't look far enough to see that I had compensation. It reminds me of the last game where I didn't push I was black, I didn't push d3 to make a pass pawn because I was worried that pawn could be weak. But the computer told me at a number of points that was the best move to really put the screws on white. So, being bolder, being feistier. This is what I've lost in my year off of chess, apparently. So I've got to get it back. Got to get it back. That's what this is all about. So, I'll plan to post a training video after this, and after that, maybe I'll see you with another game. Whew. Tough slog. See you later, guys.